President Donald Trump really want to have a peace deal with Iran, but because Iran want to have nuclear weapon, that is why they are showing lack of interest in this peace deal. So according to Donald Trump says that it is possible to have a peace deal with Iran, and everything Donald Trump said here is very important for you to hear it, to know what is happening. But the most important thing with Donald Trump is that Donald Trump still stands on his words that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. So make sure you watch this video to hear everything by yourself. Enjoy the whole of this video to get more information. Once we come back, we discuss. So watch this.
President Trump once again appears optimistic that a deal with Iran can be reached. Yesterday, he said the U.S. had very good talks with Tehran, adding it's very possible they'll make a deal. However, the president has indicated a deal was close many times before to no avail. Mr. Trump also threatened Iran with more strikes, saying if the U.S. doesn't get what it has to get, they will go a big step further. He also made that threat previously. Tehran is reviewing the latest U.S. proposal to end the war, and a main point of contention has been Iran's nuclear capabilities. Just take a quick listen to what Mr. Trump had to say about all this.
Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon because as tough as they are, we want to keep them alive. We want to keep all of you alive. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't. And they've agreed to that, among other things.
CBS News White House reporter Aaron Navarro joins us from our D.C. bureau with more on this. And Aaron, we heard there the president say Iran has agreed to this. But what's really happening here? Do we have any clarity on where things really stand this morning?
Good morning, Errol. Well, the White House is actually still in a holding pattern for the official response from Iran to that 14-point memorandum of understanding. And the expectation is that Iran will respond through the mediators in Pakistan today to essentially the term sheet that the U.S. sent earlier this week that sets a window of 30 days for the two countries to discuss Iran's nuclear program, the Strait of Hormuz, the lifting of economic sanctions on Iran, among many other things. And as you mentioned, the president claimed there was progress made yesterday in talks with Iran, but also acknowledged there's been moments like this in the past where it seems that the U.S. has an understanding of where Iran is heading towards a deal, and then Iran takes a 180 turn and forgets what happened, according to President Trump. The president also said it's too soon, though, for direct talks with Iran, and that there is, quote, never a deadline for negotiations. A spokesman for Iran's foreign ministry said that they are reviewing the proposal sent from the United States, but said negotiations should be based on engagement, not, quote, deception, extortion, or coercion. As you mentioned, President Trump said several times yesterday that military strikes in Iran are still on the table and that the combat operations with Iran are not fully over.
All right. Aaron Navarro in D.C., thank you for that. We're now joined by Michael Williams. He's an associate professor of public administration and international affairs at Syracuse University, and joins us now to understand the bigger picture. Michael, good morning. You know, Pakistan, which has been somewhat of a mediator between the U.S. and Iran, says Saudi Arabia requested a pause in Project Freedom. This is the U.S. effort to escort vessels through the Strait of Hormuz. What does that tell us about the influence of Gulf nations on the U.S. positions throughout all this?
Well, that's a great question. The situation is extremely sort of tense and fragile because the U.S. presence in the Gulf relies on allies such as Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Bahrain, and a bunch of sort of unacknowledged arrangements for basing that a lot of Gulf leaders now don't think is viable because essentially the U.S. says it has partnership with these states, but in reality it's a unilateral arrangement where those states are not consulted, they were not really engaged much before the strikes were launched, and they're suffering from the brunt of these attacks in the war. And obviously the economies are suffering as well as civilian infrastructure. So the Saudis are trying to sort of keep a foot here and maintain a position that will allow them in some ways to stay close to the U.S., but also perhaps distance itself. And it shows that they're a key player. They've welcomed the talks, but they're not entirely happy with the status quo at the moment.
And as you look at the Strait of Hormuz, everything with this conflict seems to hinge on that. It curves around the United Arab Emirates. It leads into where we find Qatar and Bahrain. They're all U.S. allies, including Saudi Arabia. So from a tactical standpoint, should the U.S. have approached this campaign differently, understanding that this risk was almost the most obvious result of an attack on Iran?
Well, absolutely. I mean, previous administrations have obviously considered military options for at least 20 years. The reason that they did not pursue them was they understood the ramifications that could result from a military strike. And so they pursued more diplomatic options like the JCPOA, which was reached under President Obama and took 2 years to negotiate, which was in place until President Trump removed it. And so when you have relationships with states like the UAE, Oman, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, they're reciprocal. The president likes to use that word. Right. And so we have bases there. We have infrastructure there that we can use. But we then also need to engage with those states who are in really direct harm's way. And that didn't happen. And not only are they suffering from military strikes, but these economic strikes. The straits have been closed since February 28th. And only about 5% of shipping is getting through a day now. There used to be about 3,000 vessels a day. So this is really stressful for those economies, especially because many of them have been trying to transition to business hubs. And for that, they need security and stability.
Last few seconds. How do you think this ends?
Well, it's going to take a compromise. The U.S. may have started the war, but it will not end without the Iranians saying that they're willing to have it end. And that's going to be a thorny settlement to reach.
As we see playing out. Michael Williams, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Donald Trump was highly optimistic that Iran will accept to have a peace deal with the U.S. That is what Donald Trump is thinking about. But I want to ask a simple question. Will Iran accept all the conditions Donald Trump gave them, especially not having nuclear weapon, since they have the opportunity, or God gave them the resources like uranium to produce nuclear weapon? So now Donald Trump still insists that they will never have this. What is your own opinion, you watching this video? I hope you heard everything and you really heard what Donald Trump said concerning Iran and the nuclear weapon. Drop your own opinion in the comment section so that others will learn from your opinion. For more news updates like this, subscribe. I really appreciate your time for watching my videos. Turn on the bell so that when next I publish the next video, you will get notification. See you in the next one, and bye.